All right, everyone. I just got the notice that Lee is ready to go and in the chair. So we'll be getting started here very, very shortly, as in now, shortly. Lee, can you hear me? Are you there?
I can. I like now as in shortly.
It's a very short space of time between now and here and now. I don't know.
Here and now. Yeah, you just close the gap.
It's great. It's cool to see you in the chair in normal street clothes.
Yeah, this is my normal look.
Lee.
I'm still wearing blue though.
Still wearing blue. You know, that's blue is one of my best colors too. So I try and do the blue thing as much as I can as well.
It
Maybe
keeps
we
me
could swap
flowy.
clothes.
Yeah, we probably could.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, welcome today to Tea with Teachers, everyone. Hopefully my camera will stop shaking. How today is going to work is we have 4 teachers that have gone through our teacher certification program. And I'm going to be asking them some questions about what their experience is like, what they're doing with their certification now, why they joined the program, that type of thing. And Lee will jump in at perfect points for Lee whenever he feels like he would like to. And after that, I will open things up and answer questions about the teacher certification program. I'll be taking those questions from chat. We aren't going to be doing any video questions today. And we'll talk all about the teacher training if you are interested in joining that. And if you have any questions about it, now's a great time to get those questions answered. And let me see, there's one more thing that I wanted to talk about and that I'm not remembering. So we might just want to jump into Lee. Do you have anything to say about the teacher training?
I have so much to say about the teacher training, Chen. Guys, I think the program has been running for some years now, and we've seen some incredible results. I'm so thrilled how people are responding to it. I mean, I think some of the great things about this program is that it's self-paced, that you could do it at your own pace. It is a great learning tool and self-growth tool for your own practice. I mean, just if you want to dive into this practice and use it for your own benefits, being able to teach it is the best way to learn it. And teaching has just been such an amazing journey for me. I mean, when I first started teaching Qigong and I decided to get my teacher certification, I was like, oh man, it's a lot of money. It's a big commitment. All my friends have jobs in Silicon Valley. What can I actually do with teaching Qigong? And you could do a lot. And we're seeing our teachers doing a lot, whether, you are, whatever your path has taken you, wherever your path has taken you up to this point, you can use Qigong to enhance it or to create an adjunct aspect. So if you're a yoga teacher, you could start teaching Qigong and integrating. There's lots of opportunities to teach in yoga centers, health clubs, hospitals, daycares, children's schools, senior centers, your communities, teaching workshops. I mean, we're seeing our teachers doing some incredible things. And Qigong's really allowed me to travel the world, make a living helping people, being in service. I mean, I think these are the things that you can really think about. And you're a part of a community that is really growing and a practice that is really growing. It's been around for thousands of years, and more people practice Qigong than any other form of exercise in the world. And there's a reason for that. And I think a wave of Qigong influence is going to happen in the Western world more so than it already has. And it's something to be a part of, to bring health, healing, positive transformation into the world, which is so valuable to me in and of those aspects. So yeah, I'd love to hear what our teachers have to say, and I'll be chiming in occasionally. And if you guys have questions for me, just let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Lee. And I remembered the thing that I meant to say before. We are recording this and we'll send out a replay. So if you need to leave at any time, you can drop your question in the chat and we will record it. I'll probably still feed it over to Lee so you can check the replay out and get the answer to your question still if you need to take off. And generally it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to go through all of the teachers, and then we'll get into questions, and we have about 30 minutes to an hour set aside for questions as well, just so you know how the day will flow today. All right, first teacher is Anouk. You are the first person. How are you today? You should be able to unmute. Maybe.
Yes,
Hey.
I'm here. Yeah.
Hi.
Technology. So hi everybody. I'm so glad to see you all here questioning about the teacher program, because it's a fantastic program. Rather if it's only for you, or if you want to teach it, or to help your family, whatever, just for your own growth, it's just a wonderful program. I've started a couple of years ago. I was questioning myself, and I noticed that when I was young, I'm born with a hip dysplasia, and I have a bone graft, and after that I had an illness that brought me hemiplegic, and with a hard problem on expressing myself. So I was showing a thumb, and I was saying that it was a fork. So all that bring me like very angry to fight for myself all the time, and I brought that into my life after that. So it was hard making social friends and everything, because I was always in contradiction. I'm right, you're wrong. There was a lot of confrontation. So I was living with a lot of anger. And a couple of years ago, well, about 10 years ago, I met someone who said, well, why are you fighting so much? Why are you judging? Why are you making comparison? Why is it important? It was like, well, it's normal to compare. You want to know where you are in life. And I goes, no, it's not important. I go, He was starting to talk to me about the ego. And at that time, he planted a seed, but I wasn't ready to hear about it. And that person will continue to be in contact. But every time I was seeing him, he was like irradiating peace. He was so calming that I was like, man, I want to be like that. And I started to talk to my acupuncturist, and he goes like, I told him the story. He goes like, yeah, I can work with my little needle and help you out with that. So we started our journey like that, and she taught me about Qi Gong. So YouTube exists, so I find at least 20-minute morning routine on YouTube, and I started doing it, and I cannot deny it helped me a lot going through my day. I was more grounding, more concentrated. Challenges were easiest to go through. So Qigong was doing something good to me. So I continue. I made the evening routines, and I wanted to know more about it. So I started to subscribe to the video subscription. Then I wanted to know more about it. So I started the workshop, then the classes. Then I still wanted to know more and more and more and more, because it was so magic. So I started to enroll in the teacher training. And after that, it was so wonderful. And I wanted to know more. So I made a certification as well as a medical Qigong, and I'm studying TCM to be as an acupressure right now. So it was a start point that brought me here, you would have asked me that 10 years ago, what would be my life, is certainly not what I would have responded, but I'm so glad to be here at that point I am now, and to continue my journey with Qigong, for me, for the others, for healing. So that's about my story, how I got into the certification of Qigong. Now I'm still teaching. I'm teaching once a week Qigong to a little group of person. It's older person, so I have to adapt to their flexibility, their mobility. So I got to be creative on that, and let them imagine that the energy is doing the whole movement, because the energy body is able to do it. Maybe physically you're not able to, but it's going to grow, and it's going to run the energy to the meridians and do its work how it should do. And well, they keep coming, so I guess they really liked it as well. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, yeah. So that's about where I am with Qigong now. And if I can tell you to enroll in the program, I would say go ahead. A lot of benefit for yourself. The program is well made because it's divided in a week. And the first week you'll be so enthusiastic, you will do them very fast. And after that, you will reach a plateau, and it's normal because you need to assimilate. It is part of the process. It's a 16-week program. It took me a year to do it. Now it's been a year and a half that I'm certified. And you got to keep progressive, and it's a layer learning. Because first you may learn or teach more the mechanic of movement, and then after that you'll be more in the emotional part, and more feeling more what's happening inside, and more you feel, more you're able to express it and give it to the people that are in front of you. So, yeah, just a wonderful journey. Go ahead. Worth it.
Thanks, Anuk.
What a great story. What a great story, Hanshan.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you were saying too, just about that moving through life with agitation, and there's a big shift, and I hear this over and over again on people, life before they started Qigong and life after they started Qigong, and things are really different, whether it's a 20-minute program or the subscription, and especially joining, let's say, a program like the teacher training, when you really get to delve into these practices and start to use tools and resources for your own health and healing, or your own mental, emotional well-being, or a complete shift of perspective. I mean, one thing that is true, your perspective shifts dramatically when your energy is balanced and improved. You are your better version of yourself when your energy is heightened and clear. And it is just whatever circumstance that you find yourself in, whether it's frustrating people or frustrating circumstances, when your energy is up, you move through it with much more ease, focus and clarity and compassion. And I think in this program, there's a lot of life skills that we learn, as well as learning how to be a Qigong teacher, as well as learning how to really dive deep into our own self-care practices.
That's great. Yeah. Thanks, Lee. Anouk, you kind of went through all of the questions that I had, so I don't have any questions. You just went through all of the ones that I had. That was
covered
perfect.
It all.
Yeah. One follow-up question that's a little bit off from the ones that I did have is, did you notice that your personal Qigong practice got deeper the more you learned how to teach?
Yes, Yes, of course. Because there are certain level that sometimes I just wasn't ready to express, especially when it was talking about universe, about where it's more, much more invisible. When it gets into the faith, it was much harder for me to express, and more it's going and more it's like I'm able to express it vocally and share it as well. I can go deeper in the feeling of the movement. So example, when I'm doing the spinal cord breathing, I'm just going to feel more each vertebra moving, and I'm trying to make them move equally from up and down to be more yin yang and may be more balanced than, for example, having a faster movement from the bottom than the one from the top. So yes, doing the Qigong and repetitively movement, you get deeper some places and feel more the energy. Sometimes I'm just going to do a movement and the emotion is just going to go up and I will want to start crying. So I was like, okay, just let the emotion go. That's fine. It's there. Okay, let it go. So there are things like that happen. And so that's why I was saying that it really is a layer learning.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
Such good points. I mean, I think that, Chen, that emotional healing is quite powerful because it is a physical practice and we're learning lots of movements, but I think it's surprising on how healing it is to our emotional bodies, our emotional stress that we hold in the body. Like in Chinese medicine, you know, this is what would be considered helping clear a root cause of problems and preventing problems from arising. So when you do that emotional cleansing and clearing, you're preventing lots of physical issues from manifesting in your body, which is extremely powerful and sometimes not that well understood, and very well explained by our new teacher here.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Any final comments to add, Anouk?
No, it's just worth it to just, you're already interested, so I would just say press the button and go ahead.
Great advice. That's the best advice we've heard all day.
That's great. Thank you so much, Anouk, and really appreciate it. I'm so happy that you're a teacher.
It was enjoy your journey. It's a new step and go ahead. It's just going to be beneficial. So
yep.
Good luck to everyone. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Anouk. Nice to meet you up here. Yeah, really appreciated hearing your story.
Thank you. It's always nice to follow you up and learn some new stuff.
Yeah, fantastic.
Bye-bye.
Definitely check the chat. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, I will.
Appreciated your story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Cool. All right. Thanks, Anouk. Next up,
Chen, I have another Qigong benefit.
Lots and lots
while
of tea.
she was speaking, lots of tea, and look at somebody brought me this tea, just this lovely pot of well steeped delicious pu'er, because I sat up here and I was like, you know what, I'm not living up to the name of this day, which is Tea with Teachers, and now I am. So just a little update for you.
Yeah, I think our next teacher, Kelly, got into tea because she was so curious about seeing you and Ben drink the pu'er tea. So
that's
yeah.
Right.
I don't know if Kelly, if you have a pot made, you should be able to unmute now.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
We can cheers, Kelly.
Cheers. Yeah, I'm drinking.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. And thank you to you and Ben for introducing me to tea. I have gone deep into the rabbit hole of tea, and I'm here drinking purple Software from
Oh, fantastic.
yeah, and also have this a shout out to Jenny. She's also had been an influence on me and T, and introducing me to Living Tea. You introduced me, Lee, to Hidden Peak, and then Verdant Tea from Ben. So I'm all about the tea.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Side benefits of our Qigong practice.
Side benefits of a Qigong practice. So just a little bit about myself. I came to Qigong through yoga, and I had picked up a book when I was probably 18 from my father's bookshelf and started teaching myself yoga. So fast forward, I was a couple of introductions to Qigong. One came with, and this is through yoga. I was at a annual conference I'm from Philadelphia, so it was Jefferson University, and they had someone there talking about Qigong, and it was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then Channel 12, or our National Public Television, had it was Garofoli and Daisy Lee, her former husband. They were selling DVDs, and so I found out about it a little more. And then all of a sudden I saw something with Lee Holden, and it was like, okay, now it was starting to really resonate. I was doing a little practice on DVDs, but I think this was probably one of the first DVDs, probably about 3 years ago. It looks like pretty young here.
That was in 2007 we filmed that.
2007. So
yeah.
So in 2005 is when I first heard about it. 2007, I heard about it through Lee Holden. And then I had the opportunity. So I was just kind of dabbling. And I had the opportunity to go on a workshop up at Kripalu with Lee Holden. That was in 2011.
That's right, Kelly. Oh my goodness.
Yes, 2011. And then a few years later, 2018, I was there for another workshop with Lee Holden plus other teachers, Daisy Lee being another one of the teachers. And a teacher was there that I was, you become friendly with people in the class. And she was like, you really should consider becoming a teacher. And I was like, oh, you sure? And I saw you talking to the student, and she was almost finished. And I was thinking, but the money, and, I'm so busy with work. And so I kind of put it off. And then I saw in 2019 a sale. This teacher certification was for sale, and it really caught my attention because it was self-paced. So I decided to buy it at that point. And I knew that I would come back to it at some point. 2021, the company that I worked for 33 years went through a restructuring, a reorganization. I worked for a pharmaceutical company for 33 years. And but I've always been interested in health and wellness from more of an Eastern perspective. And I was offered the opportunity to stay with the company and continue on that path or leave. And I decided to leave. And at that point, it opened up for me to really delve deep into becoming a teacher and start that certification process. So as Anouk, before that, I was taking workshops and buying the different the online programs. So I kind of knew what I was getting into. But once I started on this journey of becoming a teacher, that's when it was almost like the light bulb went off. It was, sometimes you can read a book and it doesn't mean a whole lot to you. And then years later, you read the same book, and then all of a sudden it's like, there it is. And that's what has happened to me. I started in 2021 in August, focused on the training, the practice teacher training. And I just want to also just shout out to Lee, to you and your team, just an amazing support that you get from Lee, from Jenny, from Kelly, from John, from Chen, from Kimiko, all of the staff. just amazing support, and it has helped me along the journey. So in 2022, actually 2023, this year, I finished my certification. So I've been kind of a snail pace moving along, but going deeper and deeper and deeper. And along the way, taking other classes like Iron Shirt and the breath work and Dao Yin. I'm just starting to get into that because I am continuing to go to the next level. I want to continue. This is a lifelong journey for me. And then you opened up Dao Te Ching. And that's like, now I'm going down that path, just learning more about all of that. Just wanted to, I was listening to National Qigong Association had their conference last week. Roger Janko was on, and he said, "Oh, you got to read this book, Original Tao."
Original Tao.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, I got to get it. I haven't opened it yet. I just got it today. But every book that you've recommended, Lee, I've gotten. So I'm getting into that too. As far as, so my vision for what I want to do, after I was certified, I have a park right behind my house. So I had offered classes on Saturday at no charge to get that going, that practice of teaching going. Just yesterday, I got my first gig, and I am teaching seniors at a senior center every Tuesday from now until the end of November. I have another organization. It's an arboretum that does classes in the arboretum, and I'm going to teach there in the spring. Yesterday, I looked at my email, and someone reached out to me from the directory. We as teachers are on the directory. So this person, who I don't know, lives in Philadelphia, was looking for some support in learning more about Qigong. And Lee's, the Holden's team said, "Hey, we don't do one-on-one, but here's the directory. Maybe there's someone that lives near you." He's reached out to me as of yesterday. So it's just like, it could go, who knows where it's going to go. The people in the Arboretum, they were interested in my tea. They were like, "Oh, you tell me more about your tea hobby. Maybe we can introduce that." Like, well, I'd like to drink it, but we can see what happens. So my goal is really to be of service and to teach, people at all ages. I think the seniors are can really benefit, but so can younger people, because we live in such a stressed out environment, and to learn something that they can put into their tool kit to manage just life. So that's what I'm going to do with my certification. I do want to go to the next level 2, to really go deep, even deeper with it. And yeah, so what would I tell you about enrolling? If you have the desire to learn, whether it's to teach or just to learn yourself, I would recommend it. I think it is well worth it. And it's my practice is evolving, and I just find that I'm just taking layers off that I didn't even know were there, and it's like, wow, okay, this is really, really interesting. And my background is in biology. My degree is in biology, and I worked in clinical research, and so I've always had a science background, and this, from a traditional Chinese medicine perspective, I'm really interested in the science behind all this. So I like to, Anouk spoke about languaging. I like to really introduce what all of this is that we're doing in plain English, so people will know why they're doing what they're doing, and not just do it. I think from a Western perspective, we like to know why. and people are looking to like, well, why is this, you know, why are we doing these movements, and what does it do for me from a, you know, health perspective? So that's my story. Jen, I don't know if you have any other questions for me.
I mean, yet again, you just kind of went through all of the ones that I was going to ask. So
Yeah, yeah.
this is
And
great.
the other thing is I love to have fun. So I'm a
Yeah.
kind of a jokester during class. So I try to find ways to make people laugh.
This is great. Do you have any, because you're actively teaching students, do you have a student that you feel particularly proud of, or that there's like a story you can share relating to your students?
Well, I guess the first thing comes to mind, and this is someone that hasn't come to class like often, but she said she's a singer, and we did some lung work, and you know, Buddha holds up the earth and doing some acupressure points, and she said it brought up the emotion, and it just kind of released something from her, and it impacted how she sang, you know, her just how she, the next day, her singing. And she was like so excited about that and told her friends, she's like, you know, I don't know what happened, but this is my experience. So that's one thing that comes up. Yesterday when I taught, which is kind of interesting, it's really the first time I've taught people that I didn't know, seniors. And after the class, a person came up and said, oh, my shoulders are tight. What can I do? So I gave her a couple of suggestions, and she was like, but my back feels a lot better. It was hurting before, but now it feels better. So that's, you know, a couple of examples.
That's great. Thank you.
Nice.
You're welcome.
I don't
Jen,
have
I love what Kelly.
questions. Go ahead, Lee.
Oh yeah, I was just loving what Kelly was talking about the depth of the practice and the unfolding of the practice, how it just keeps revealing things to you that you need at particular times. You know, both in the depth, but also in the timing. You know, it's like I read something, I did a practice, the impact was X, Y, or Z, and then I redid it or I reread it, and it was like, aha, I get it, and has, you know, more impact. It's a practice that doesn't just go away. Like, you don't just put it on the back burner. You keep redoing it. And the more you redo and the more you keep practicing, the newer you are, and the practice is digested, lands, has impact in new ways. So there's a bit of magic to the practice that I find, you know, even practice that I've been doing for 30 years, you know, when I come back to them and do it, I have aha moments all the time, just like Kelly was describing. And yeah, I love that about this practice.
That's great. Thanks, Lee. Yeah. Thank you, Kelly. Any final words of wisdom to anyone that might be considering hopping in?
I would say just go for it. Go for it. And I think is there any is it the next phase starting of teachers? So I mean, this may be the perfect time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll do every time we have one of these kind of larger events, like I guess enrollment events, and we have more teachers enrolling, we do a couple kickoff calls with all of the teachers. So there'll be a kickoff call with Lee specifically, and then there'll be another one with Jenny and Robin, I believe, showing you through the program and getting you oriented to everything inside of the program and how to progress through. And those are good places, good extra resources that not everyone gets, because we do them when we have a larger amount of people joining all at once. Jenny, by the way, if you're hearing her name, is our teacher liaison, whose kind of her primary role here is to help all of the teachers going through the program to complete the program. So she's one of the, I think, the most valuable parts of the entire teacher certification. So
I just had one more thing I wanted to say. The community of teachers and students is really wonderful. And the students, teachers, so many of them are like selfless. So like, for instance, this is just a guide that Shelley Wick put together that I go to for just all of the exercises, that all of the movements, all of the series. She put her own work into this, and this is available to any teacher that wants it. So there are a lot of resourceful materials that help support your journey.
Great. Thanks, Kelly. Awesome.
I mean, that's a good point, Jen. You know, our teachers, there's a lot of them now, and it is such an amazing community. There's so much support. You know, talking about Jenny's here. Jenny's the one who brought me this tea. Jenny's been here because we had a live event, and you know, I can't say enough about how amazing Jenny is in support of this program. And you know, Jenny is here for you guys, and she is a acupuncturist. She's a Qigong teacher. She is a reverend. She has so much to offer, and she's here for you guys. So that is such a bonus to this program. So, you know, a special tea cheers to Jenny.
Yay.
You'll see it, Jenny in the chat. Jenny's here in the chat too. So she's around. Well, thank you so much, Kelly. So
Thank
also
you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Great to see you again.
All right. Olaf, you're up. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jan. Hello, hello. My name is Olaf Koch. I live in Kiel, a small town north of Hamburg in Germany. And my main job is in public service, in science and research business. And in my spare time, I'm a proudly Holden QiGong teacher. And first question, why did I join? Sorry, Jen. Move your body like a river, be like a wave in the ocean. When I first heard these words, I could even say song. When I first heard these words in an online Qigong session by Lee, I felt like a little boy standing in front of a magician, being totally amazed and stunned by all his tricks. And from that moment, I knew that I wanted to become a magician too. And Qigong, in particular, Holden QiGong, has given me back to superpowers, what I say, or what I call them, namely the ability to communicate with my body, and self-healing, the ability for my body to heal itself again. But it wasn't always like that. It started about 8 years ago. I was in really, really bad shape. I was tremendously stressed professionally and personally. And my body developed all the consequences of stress: obesity, high blood pressure, asthma, low energy level, fatigue. And I knew I had to change something completely, otherwise things would go worse. And my older sister, she is a tap dancer and a yoga instructor, took me by the hand and introduced me to a Tai Chi master. And I was immediately fascinated by Tai Chi, with gentle, slow movements that are done in a sequence. And I started to practice Tai Chi on a regular basis every week. And through this practice, very slowly, I re-established a connection to my body, and it was a wonderful feeling that my body was no longer separate from me, but that I am my body. But in Tai Chi, there is a great emphasis on form. This means that the movement you have to be at exactly the right position, at exactly the right time with your movement. And this is a wonderful choreography. It's a wonderful moving meditation, but it's very, very demanding. Always to concentrate on your form, keep your hands like this, keep your fingers like this, look that way, look this way. Every movement has to be precise. And the more I was doing that, I felt there is something missing. And again, I talked to my older sister, and she sent me a link. And she said, here's a link of a summit, and there's a Qigong master called Holden. And take a look at Holden, you will like him. This moment was a complete game changer for me, because Qigong was the missing puzzle piece on my path of transformation, I would call it. I found the formlessness, and especially a formlessness where I was able to work with, because Holden is giving Qigong an ease, an easiness, an easy feeling that I simply needed to stick with it. This is a big difference for me regarding other Qigong teachers that I work with. Holden simply made Qigong accessible to me, and with the regular practice, things began to change inside my body and around me. My body began to heal itself, and I felt better, a little better every day, day by day. And I simply learned to communicate with my body. So I wanted to get into a deeper level of this, I call it magical body language. And so I enrolled to the teacher training. And this teacher training, and in this teacher training, you get a bunch of really precious tools that help you to communicate with your body, and to show others on how to communicate with their body. Practical example, you wake up in the morning and you feel a little occupied in your lungs. And if you're sick, of course, you go to the doctors. But if you want to help your body, in addition to that, then you tap on your acupuncture points, lung 1 and 2. You tap up and down your sternum, and you inhale and make a nice Lungen flow, and maybe healing sounds like, and you visualize bright white light over your lungs. And these are all tools I learned in the teacher training on a much deeper level, and they really help me a lot every single day. This is for your first question, Shan.
Thank you, Olaf. But maybe I just don't even need to ask the second question then.
That was fantastic, Olaf. I love hearing your story, and you know, this is true. You know, Qigong is like an inner magician, because it's just, you know, the process of transformation, and the real magic is when you are able to transform one state of energy and mind and body into another one, and you're like, wow, all of a sudden I feel better. I have tools and resources to do each and every day, like you said. You know, I loved what you said, and it's just so true, and it's been so true in my life. I get so excited about it that, you know, the excitement is what drove me into teaching, because I just wanted to share, and I was sharing it wherever I could. And somebody was like, you know, you're such a spokesperson for this practice. You should just start teaching. So I was like, where can I do a class? And it was like at a health club. So that was me. I was like, okay, sure, I'll teach a class at a, you know, health and fitness club. So that was my like first sessions, because I'm like, oh, people are moving and exercising anyways. Let's show them an alternative way. And all of a sudden, you know, Chan, I don't know if I told you this, but you know, in the mid 90s at these health clubs, all of a sudden my classes, after maybe 6 to 9 months, were becoming some of the more popular classes at the health club. So they were like, huh, what's going on here? Why are so many people going to Lee's class when he's just doing these nice, relaxing things? You know, kind of this buzz started to spread around how good it makes you feel. And feeling good is magic.
It is, truly.
It really is. Well, Olaf, what's my second question?
Where are you now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole team, Olaf can read your mind, Chen.
Yeah, I can read your mind. Yes,
yeah,
where
mind
am I
reading
now?
is part of this course, guys.
Yeah.
Today I'm teaching 2 courses a week, one online course and one in presence, and I'm planning to expand that very slowly, because there's no need to hurry. Today I feel like a wave in the ocean. Due to the Qigong teacher training, I'm a wave in the ocean, and this is simply such a wonderful feeling. I'm no longer a little boat. sailing through the storms of life, I am the wave guiding the boat, and it is my primary aim to keep the connection to this infinite source, to the connection to my body, and of course the connection to Holden QiGong, the Holden community. I'm still taking part in the monthly video subscription, in the monthly workshops, in some of the courses. It's a wonderful possibility to continue the journey. And it's simply wonderful to stay in touch with other lovely, like-minded Qigong people.
That's great. Thanks, Olaf. So do you have a favorite Qigong movement then?
Of course, I have a favorite Qigong movement. It is Dragonfly Hits the Pond. Such a wonderful, demanding movement, I would say. I can't do it with my students because it's really demanding, and to keep the balance and all the movement, put them all together. But it's a wonderful movement.
I love that.
That's great. I love hearing people's favorite movements. It sometimes surprises me. I'm like, because this one is a flow. But it's like Olaf was saying, it's very demanding because you're balancing, and it's very flowy, and it's great. And that's the thing about Qigong practices, favorite movements, will change depending on the day. It's always astonishing. At our workshop, somebody was like, I was like, okay, swimming dragon or dragonfly hits the pond, and they hadn't seen me before. It was like day one, and he was like, oh, I feel like it's like a band. I'm at a concert and you're playing my favorite song. I just want to hold up my lighter and just go. Wee! So dragonfly hits the pond. I might teach that in today's class.
Great.
You've inspired me.
There we go. Perfect. One final question for you, Olaf. I believe, is English a second language for you?
English is my second language. Yeah. German is my first language.
Jenny was bringing up, I think, that sometimes we get the question, how was it for you to go through the teacher training program with English being your second language? How was that experience for you?
For me, it was no problem. Because I like to watch films in English. I read English books, and when you got a normal level of understanding English, it's just no problem to go through the teacher training without English being your first language.
Right.
It's very, very easy. Lee has a very clear, he's speaking very clearly, and he's explaining the things very well, and easy, no problem for me.
Right. Thank you. And do you have any final words? What would you say to someone that's considering enrolling right now?
Oh, well, for my part, I've lost nearly 50 pounds of weight. My blood pressure has regulated. I've no asthma. I don't need any medication anymore. Probably everything won't come of not only from Qigong. I like running and cycling, but Qigong made that possible, that I can do that now. And of course, I developed a sense of lightness when you're facing problems in your life. Every day we are facing problems, but when you get a level, Qigong gives you a level of resiliency for you to cope with those problems. And this is such a great thing. And I ask myself over and over again, why did anyone tell me about this before, about Qigong, about the possibility to get into such a deep level of this? For me, it was the most rewarding thing I've done in my recent years. So I would fully recommend it to everyone. Do not hesitate a second to do so. It's a very precious journey.
I love that. Thanks, Olaf. Well, we're so grateful to have you as one of our teachers, and maybe we'll come to one of your classes today. Or today, someday.
I love it. That was such a great. It was so great to hear from Olaf. I think it was just such an impactful journey and story, and such a great, clear way of expressing the benefits of Qigong. And English is my second language too, Chen.
Is it?
Yeah, first language is Qi. It's body language.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, thank you, Olaf. I really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Olaf.
Thanks for
Fantastic.
taking the time.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next up, Kelly Baker, one of our senior Holden instructors who's been around for quite a long time. How are you today, Kelly?
Very well, Chen. How are you?
Doing very well. Happy that it's actually transitioned into a bit of a fall experience here just north of Portland, Oregon. Ask me again in a month, though, how I feel about it. We'll see.
I seem to remember learning from the Tao. The one constant is change.
This is true. Yeah.
Hi,
And-
Lee.
Hi, Kelly. So beautiful to see you.
And you.
You
Pleasure.
look so well and glowing. I could see your Qi glow.
Qi Gong. I learned that from being with you and being in the training course and spending my days as a Holden QiGong senior instructor. Gives me my glow.
What a great journey it's been, Kelly. And I haven't seen you in way too long. And Kelly and I have been training and practicing Qigong for many years.
Many years. Yes,
Yeah.
this is my 10th year with you in training and my 9th year teaching. Ending of a cycle, beginning of new cycles, which is a wonderful thing. And I wanted to reflect on things that have been said by Anuk and Olaf and Kelly. Hi, everyone. I've worked with all three of you. One of the things I find, and Lee has said this, one of the things I find so wonderful about the Holden QiGong program and the teacher training in comparison, Holden QiGong provides this great breadth of study, different practices, iron shirt, breath work have both been mentioned today. And as Lee said earlier, at the same time, spending time with core work, coming back to the core work of 5 elements of movements like the fountain for the water, tree sways in the wind for the wood element, coming back to the core work that we do in the training program. For me, I keep gaining more, learning more, finding more depth. Sometimes I compare it to snorkeling versus scuba diving. Snorkeling, you have this wonderful, like, hey, the water is great. I'm floating around. It's nice. But when you scuba dive, when you go into the depth at that one spot, you get to see the starfish and the coral and so much more richness under the surface when you spend time in that one spot under the surface. That's what I'm finding for myself, certainly as a practitioner of Holden QiGong, working with the core material in the teacher training program over and over again. And the benefit of doing the course online is that you can keep going back to those videos over and over again, hearing more, as Lee was saying earlier, as you evolve, as you yourself change and evolve. It certainly happens with me. I'll listen to a video and I go, really? Did he say that before? I never heard that before. And I know it was there because the video was there, but my receptors are ready for that information, for that insight on a new level. And I find that magical.
Love that, Kelly. Thank you.
Chen, I love what Kelly was saying because I'm a scuba diver.
Oh, yeah?
And you know, Qigong, when you start your Qigong practice, it's like, like Kelly was saying, you're just getting into magical water and you're snorkeling. And you know that feeling when you're like in this beautiful place and you look underwater, you're like, I never knew this existed. Wow, look at all these incredible fish. And look, there's a turtle and there on the water's warm. And you're just like, this is nice. And the teacher training, like Kelly was saying, scuba diving, when you scuba dive, you enter into a magical, completely different realm. I don't know if people scuba dove before, but the metaphor is analogous to, like, now I'm going into the depths and I didn't realize, from the surface, I see all this cool stuff, but all of a sudden you're underwater, you're floating, you're weightless, your body relaxes, you're now seeing things up close that you never saw before. And I just love what Kelly said about this metaphor, because it's true in a very different way. But the magic and the things that reveal themselves are just unexplainable until you actually dive in yourself and experience it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Lee. And I knew you were a paddle boarder. I didn't know you were a scuba
Yeah.
as well.
I'm a scuba diver, Kelly. Yeah. And I've done some, under the water. And I just took my kids last year a couple of times, and they had the same kind of experience. They were scared. They didn't want to do it, and then afterwards their little faces were just like, wow, amazing. And we just did, it was a shallow dive. And, but what we got to see and experience under the water, and the feeling of being weightless, is just, magical. And, when you're doing Qigong, all of a sudden you become weightless because your body isn't in such resistance. You get that kinesthetic sensation, and then you're inner scuba diving because you're finding and exploring all these different layers to yourself.
The inner scuba diver. That's it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Chen, put that in the marketing material right on the top. Yeah. Do Qigong. It's your inner scuba certification.
That's great.
Lovely. I want to say that I have worked with a number of people here who are visiting and on this webinar. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm a senior instructor with the team. I am also a certified Alexander technique teacher. I also spent 25 years as a ballroom dancing, Latin dancing, Argentine tango dancing coach and choreographer. I choreographed on Dancing with the Stars UK for 9 years. I choreographed the Argentine tangos. Then I had a car accident. I was in a car accident and I had bad whiplash. So the mover, Kelly the mover wasn't moving because I was in spasm, which was an emotional trauma as well as a physical trauma. I had to give up my career. And I was not planning to give up my career at that age of life, and then needing another career. But I was blessed with finding Lee on an online program about 4 months later. And this became my personal, Holden QiGong and Lee's teachings became my personal therapy, physiotherapy, emotional therapy. And I knew instantly, and there are stories about the Tao pointing big neon signs that I would go through the training. But I knew instantly that this was going to be a lifetime practice for me, and that this was going to be my new career. This was good for me and good for other people. I like being a teacher. I like sharing and empowering people to be well in their bodies and in their minds and their hearts and spirits. So what I then do is when as part of the Holden QiGong program and the Tier 1 program, is that I teach master classes. And when you sign up, you will have a library of master classes to look through by myself and John Platt and Tony Gales and Lewis and Lita, and wonderful master classes on a variety of Qigong subjects. I focus my master classes on Tier 1 material and deep diving into Tier 1 material. I also, and this is my deep passion, is that I provide one-to-one sessions for you going through the Tier 1 training. So having been through all the 16 weeks, you then come and see me or John. This is my studio. You'll come visit me here. And we work on the Tier 1 material one-to-one. So my joy is to help you be more embodied, to help you unblock some things that I notice. I have a way of saying things like, oh, how about just relaxing your left ankle? And then you or whoever I'm working with goes, oh my God, I feel so much better. I feel so much lighter. It's just what I do. And helping you be embodied and helping you cultivate your skill as a teacher, as a new teacher of Holden QiGong. So that's where you would meet me as part of this program.
Great. I think there's.
And I have to
think
say,
we have-
Chen, oh, sorry, Chen.
Oh,
I was just saying,
go for it.
yeah. Oh, I was just going to say with, we're talking about magic, and what Kelly does it's so magical is that one-on-one work. And she can just point, like she said, point things out to you. And then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, wow, I didn't know I was doing that. Or I didn't know I was holding right there. Or I didn't know that I could actually relax into my left ankle and create balance in my body. She's very, very observant and very skilled at this body posture alignment, the relationship we have between our mind, our own interpretation of ourselves, and our actual way of moving, and creating those bridges so that you really feel skillful in this mind-body connection.
It's my joy. Thank you, Lee. It is my joy.
Yeah.
It's my fun. It's my passion. I've always said I like troubleshooting. I just like troubleshooting. So someone comes and we start working on a movement, like somebody mentioned, move the body like a river earlier. Olaf, I think you mentioned that, which is one of my favorite movements. Oh yeah, everybody. Okay, Lee and Chen have got it. Move the body. and yep, Anuk's got it. Everybody. And I might just see something. Or this person I'm working with will say, I've never felt quite comfortable doing that movement. Can you take a look at it? And I'll just do whatever my thing is. And I observe whatever it is. I observe the whole person. I observe the whole person. There's something structural going on. There's something perhaps psycho-emotional going on. There's something gravitational going on. And my joy is to kind of troubleshoot that and help unlock it so that the energy can flow more freely. So that wellness can happen more freely. Balance, integration, equilibrium, lightness. And the same thing with the teaching, with the process of learning to become a teacher, to embody while you are also speaking. And I'm just going to say, we all want, Lee, just in case you don't know, we all want to be like you. We all, we hear your wonderful teaching and the way you move freely and embody so lightly, and have these beautiful words and phrases and thoughts that come through. People who have been through the training are smiling, going, and then we go, how can I do that? How can I do that? Why is it not coming out so well right now? Why is it? And I say, because Lee's been doing it for a little while and you haven't yet. I haven't yet. It takes practice. It's okay. So I help you practice how to verbalize and hopefully be on the Lee-like path to becoming a teacher, inspired by Lee, but also being yourself, being your own, being a teacher in your own integrity, your own uniqueness. So that's what I do.
Thank you, Kelly.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Kelly. That's great.
Chan, let's see, questions you had. Favorite student experiences. I have two. One is when I was teaching group classes in a gym, in a fitness center. I teach one class, right? I have 20 people in the room. I just taught one class. And then people come up to you afterwards and say, oh, thank you so much for that class. And I'd have one person who would say, thank you so much for that class. I was feeling really stressed and angry and uptight when I started. And now I feel so much calmer, more peaceful, more relaxed. Thank you so much. And then the next person would come up to me and say, thank you so much for class. I started class, I was feeling really down, really slow, really depressed. I almost didn't come. Now I feel so much more energized. I feel so much more lively, and I'm ready to face the rest of the day. Thank you so much. And I went, what's happening? One person started up here and went down, and the other person started down here and went up. but I only taught one class.
Mm.
And what I learned from that is that what I want to be doing in teaching Holden QiGong is help people come to equilibrium. And they start somewhere, but come to their own equilibrium, because equilibrium is where they function best. And everybody starts in a different place. So yes, I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But that I really enjoyed that as an experience, as a teaching experience. Oh, and to realize, as a teacher, cultivate the skill of saying things that energize and saying things that calm. And we deliver movements through Holden QiGong program. We deliver movements that energize. We teach movements that calm. And students take from that what they need in the moment, in their individual experience on any individual day. I think that's amazing. And the other thing, the other student experience I had that was so amazing when I teach my own students, an 80-year-old woman had been coming to my classes during COVID online 3 and 4 times a week. And after about 2 years, she said to me, you know, Kelly, I've realized now, after all of your classes, that my relationships have energy. And that some of my relationships are very depleting. And some of my relationships are very empowering and energizing. Is that one of the things you're teaching us? And I went, yeah. That's it. She's 80 years old and she's just realizing it. And she says, I know what relationships I'm going to get rid of now because they deplete me. And Lee, I think you were mentioning that earlier, how one of the aspects of Holden QiGong that we work with is what I call the middle dantian of Holden QiGong, that emotional energy work. And I think that's just super duper powerful, because you can work with that regardless of your physical capacity or your student's physical capacity. You can still work on the emotional level.
Big time, Kelly. I think that's super important. And I love the stories, because, you know, this practice in Chinese medicine is called regulating. You get from it what you need. So some people need that clearing, that letting go of mental stress, that letting go of tension and tightness in their shoulders. And other people need to be boosted, where they're just feeling down and fatigued and not enough energy and depleted. And all of a sudden you end up in this harmony within yourself. And I think that's the beauty and the magic of a Qigong class. And how much fun is it to be able to teach a class and see people just getting brighter and brighter? I think this is something that's so joyful for me in the teaching process, and to be able to get, you know, that kind of value, that kind of feedback. You know, sure, people come in and pay you money for a class, and that's valuable too, because it can be a great business. But the real value for me is seeing the transformation in people and having a part in that transformation. So I love it. And I love the stories that you told.
Thank you.
Kelly, I don't know if I told you this, but one time I was teaching a class. Same kind of dynamic. It was a class, like there's like 20 people in here, and one of the students was a 90-year-old, and he came in with a walking cane, and he was, you know, hobbling as he came in. And then the best compliment I ever had was nonverbal, because when he left, he forgot his cane. It was just sitting there in the back of the room, and I was like, "Yep, it did. We did our job."
Did the job. That's a mic drop moment.
I saw that. Yeah, bam.
Boom, that's it. Love it. And just to reemphasize, as part of the program, that what you learn when you do the here all of us learn when we do the Tier 1 program is what we call class recipe, and that Lee provides, that I just think is just it's the secret sauce. It's one of the secret sauces that the program teaches you how to lead energizing movements, and lead calming movements, and lead stretching and relieving movements, purging movements, tonifying movements, and practices and intentions that go with all of that, and in a particular order that helps cook the great food, the great meal that that your students will then enjoy and be nourished by. We teach you how to do that. It's one of my favorite things. I even did a master class on that class recipe.
Oh,
Get
fantastic.
right on. I will say that I have been to classes, other people's classes, where they start with, they do it in a different order of energizing, stretching, stillness, movement. And I don't feel the same way at the end of it. You know, I don't get that same Holden yumminess. Oops, speaking of yumminess. So that's why I love Holden QiGong. And here's my yum cup. Here's my yum.
Yes. Yum.
Here's my yum tea.
Love the yummy tea.
Thank you. Chen, Lee, anything I can help with? Anything
I'll turn
else?
it over to Chen. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Oh, pleasure, Lee. So good to see you.
Right.
You too.
We're on separate posts at the moment, so yeah.
Yeah, we are. I know. I got to get over there. It's been in my mind field to come out to the East Coast, and Jenny and I were just talking about it yesterday.
Come on.
Come on.
It's good over here, and I would like to come over
I
there.
know. It is so good.
Chen, do you have anything you'd like me to reflect on?
No, I'm just kind of savoring this, that everyone that we brought up today, I didn't basically need to ask any questions. This has been fun.
Making it easy.
Beautiful.
Great. Just turn it over to you. And I mean, I could just not show up anymore. It would be great.
Yeah.
Lead your team. We love your team.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No follow-up questions. Thank you so much. I always really appreciate you, Kelly.
Oh,
thank you.
ditto. Thank you. Lovely to be here, and I hope to see you all in the course and here one-to-one in my studio. It's my pleasure. Love to have you and support you.
Thank you. Speaking of which, I forgot to ask the other teachers, if you would like, please drop your contact information or website or some way for everyone here to contact you into the Zoom chat. We will also include that information in the email going out later today. Ooh. There's that alert that you told us about, Kelly.
Is that it?
I just got that. Yeah.
I hear it.
Okay, just everyone, I had gotten word, so I sent it out to the team that apparently at 20 today, now, your phones might go beep beep or buzz buzz or something, and they're trying an emergency alert system.
They just did it. I got it. It worked. So
yes, you're fantastic.
I got it too. Interesting.
There you go. Just to answer a question in the chat, I am in Poughkeepsie, New York at the moment, the eastern hub of Holden QiGong.
Pretty much is.
It is, right? I'm in the Poughkeepsie, which is in the Hudson Valley in Dutchess County, north of New York City. And such
beautiful
fun. It absolutely lovely. And such fun when I come into my studio to work at different hours of the day, working with one-to-ones, working with people from all over the world, trainees from all over the world. This lovely network of good energy and good sharing is really fantastic. Something I'm very grateful for.
Well, thank you, Kelly. I think I just got all discombobulated by that alert, but please, if you were a teacher and you came up today, Anuk and Olaf and Kelly, please drop your contact information into the chat here, and then we'll also include that in the email going out later today in case anyone wants to join some of your classes. And again, thank you all so much. And what I'd like to do now is I want to go through kind of what's actually inside of the teacher training. I've been seeing lots of questions about like, okay, what does it look like on the back end? What do you actually get? That kind of thing. And then we'll go into more questions. Hopefully I can help answer some of the questions preemptively. Lee, anything you want to say or add before I jump into that?
Yeah, Jen, actually, I mean, I think the testament of this program is the quality of the teachers like Kelly. I mean, high quality teachers that are supporting this program. I mean, Kelly is a movement, like she said, she was a professional dance teacher. She taught tango on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, her quality of movement and her expertise as a teacher in general is just amazing. And then we have Jenny, like I was saying, and some of the other masterclass teachers. I mean, these are professionals. There's 2 acupuncturists, trained Qigong therapists. You're going to get a lot of adjacent information and energy and support in this program. So I think that's something to be aware of as well.
It's so true. Yeah. I mean, Jenny, having access to Jenny is, I think, worth the cost of the program, in my opinion.
You have access to Jenny day and night. So
yeah, she stays up. She never sleeps. She's always available.
So that's what happens when you bring an enlightened Lama into your Qigong course.
It's very true.
And team. Yeah.
Well, okay, let's go through, just for if anyone's just joining us or if anyone needs to leave, I just want to reiterate, we are recording this and we'll send out the replay later today. More than likely, it might be tomorrow morning, just depending on when the replay gets processed and posted, but it'll probably be later today. So if you need to take off, that's all right. We'll send out the replay and everything. Also, if you do want to just go read through everything that's in the program, basically what I'm going to say now, if you're more of a reader than a listener, I'm going to ask Sean or someone from the team will be posting the link to the information page into the Zoom chat here. We'll also include that link in the email that's going out later. So Sean, Sav, if you could post that link to the teacher training page into the chat here for everyone, that would be great. Thank you. And what I'm going to do now is just read through kind of bullet point by bullet point, everything that's inside of the teacher training. And then I'll screen share and go through what it looks like right after you log in. So you kind of can see what everything is and how it looks and what it would kind of be like to be going through and actually consuming the content. So when you enroll in the teacher certification program, you'll get lifetime access to all of the material. It is self-paced and all online, so you can do it at your own pace. If you can't start now, or you want to start in 2 weeks or 2 years, you could start in 2 years if that's what you would like. And I want to emphasize the lifetime access. There's no follow-up fees. There's no subscription as part of it. Once you are in, you're in. And that gives you lifetime access to the ongoing masterclasses that Kelly was talking about. There are 2 of those per month, every single month. So just for one time, you pay one time and you get access to the masterclasses in an ongoing way. Sav, that is the link to the clarity calls. Can you share the link to the teacher training page? This one here, I got it. That one. The link I just posted is the link to the teacher training.
And Chen, I think I'll just add to those master classes. You get access to all the previous ones too. So there's a whole plethora and a library of classes. And if you wanted to oh, I wonder what a Chinese medicine doctor says about the 5 elements, or hey, how do I run a Qigong business? What are some tips and tricks to getting my business started? Or how does structure and my posture relate to this Qigong practice? There's master classes on a wide variety of topics that are adjacent to the curriculum and that are very, very interesting. Yeah,
this is true. We have over 100 now. We have over 100 master classes in our library. There's quite a lot of stuff in there. So it's sort of, you can go through the core content and then just start going through all of the master classes, and you'll probably, I don't know, I should calculate it out. You could do that for several years before even participating in any of the live stuff, the live master classes. And you also get a monthly group Q&A call with Lee as well. So you get access to that. That's that one. I mean, you just can have that forever. Keep joining those Q&A calls. You can participate in that 1 month and not go to the next one, and then go to the one after that. And I believe those are also recorded and posted in. So you have the library of all of those as well. So there's the core content, the ongoing master classes, the ongoing Q&As, the masterclass library, Then you also get 2 private one-on-one sessions with our senior instructors. Kelly's one of them. This is included, so you don't have to pay extra for that. And you'll get access to the Facebook group. You don't have to have Facebook to participate or go through the program. That's just an easy way to create a group place for people to hang out. And after you complete your certification, you'll get an invitation to promote yourself or get added to our Holden QiGong Teacher Directory on the website. So you can have your picture listed there, contact information, where you're teaching, all of that. That's included as well. And then there's a couple little bonuses and things that are listed on the page. I don't want to go through all of those. What I just went through is sort of the core content of the teacher certification program. All right. And yes, Mana, I believe that what we try to do with the Q&As is to try to stagger timing, because we do have people in Australia and Europe, to try and make it a good time for one or the other. So it's not always a good time for I don't think there's a good time for both. So we try and switch between the two. So it's always good for at least one of those groups. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen, so you'll see something different here. This is what it looks like right after you log in. This is what it looks like after you log into the teacher training. This is sort of like the landing page, the home page of the teacher training. You have all of the live Q&A call dates listed out here, along with the masterclass dates and how to access them. A link to join the Facebook group if you want to participate in the Facebook group, information about private lessons and all of the certification requirements are all listed here on the right. And then over here on the left, these are all of the modules or the weeks, the content inside of the course. You go into Start Here. Start Here has this sort of overview walkthrough of the program and how to progress through it. And there's an orientation video here. It'll kind of be what we go over in the orientation call as well. You can skip through and see how to navigate through the entire course. You'll see what to expect, how to stay engaged, how to navigate everything, how you actually get certified. And yes, we do verify that you qualified to get certified, and how to get one-on-one lessons, how to complete your personal practice hours. There's a whole bunch of information here. Once you actually start in the content, the first week of content looks like this. And every other week, every other module of the course is basically the same. You don't have to progress and do this each week in an actual week. You can go through it at your own pace. So if you only have 20 minutes a week, just watch what you can and then complete what you can and then come back to it. So each module, each week is a combination of lecture like this one. This lecture is about 46 minutes long with Qigong routines. So you'll have some lecture, some learning about the 5 elements, 3 treasures, the foundational stuff that Kelly was talking about, and then you'll be practicing and applying that theory and putting it into practice through routines and meditations. We've got some journaling exercises and prompts in here for you, and there's just a bunch of stuff. And then we have these introduction to Qigong program versions of the program in here for you to watch as well. Those are one of the little bonuses. And once you complete that, all of the content here, you will have to complete a 10-question quiz. I believe they're all 10 questions to progress to the next week. So you have to get all of these. Yes, I'm not remembering what the number is that you have to get right. You have to get a certain number of these right to display that you actually know what you're talking about and that you've consumed the content to be able to progress to the next one. And so here's an example of the quiz. All right. I'm going to stop sharing now. We went through what's in the program and the first module. So let's answer some questions. Leslie, you want to jump in with anything for the moment while I'm pulling up questions?
No, I just saw one of the answers in your quiz wasn't right, Chen. So that was the only thing that jumped out at me.
Are any of them? I don't even know if I've done that quiz. Thank you. Which one was it?
You know, what is Qi? You know,
Oh,
life force, energy, animating power.
Okay.
All of the above.
Perfect.
And it's all of the above, folks, because you know, Qi it is food, it's breath, it's animating power, it's life force, energy. You know, now you already have one question right, guys. So it's just going to make that first week so much easier.
I love it. Well, thanks, Lee.
Yeah, I'm here for you, Chen.
Oh, look, I passed the week 1 quiz.
You did? Oh, wow.
I did.
Fantastic.
That's great. Well, yeah, Jenny was saying you have to get 80% on the quizzes to progress to the next week. And I don't think that there's a limitation on how many times you can take them. So you can continue to refine your knowledge. One thing I did want to talk about is if you're in the video class subscription and actively doing classes there, oftentimes we recommend, and a lot of students, when they start the teacher certification, they pause their subscription for the video classes so they can focus on the teacher training content. It's kind of up to you if you want to do that or not, and how much time you have. Generally recommend that if you don't have that much time and you can only focus on one or the other, that you focus on the teacher training, progress through that content, and do the routines in the teacher training that relate to the theory that you're learning as well. And then as you start to transition out of the teacher training, you can resume your video class subscription. Just reach out to support whenever you start the certification, if that's what you'd like to do, and they can stop your subscription and pause that for you. Okay, questions. Val's is asking if now is not a good time for me to even consider starting. Do we offer discounts on the teacher training every year, or is it an isolated one-time offer? Val's, we have done it about twice a year, but I can't guarantee that we're going to continue to do that necessarily. It's like I'm not sure. I'm trying to move us away from doing a lot of sales. So it might be that next time we're not doing a $500 off and we're doing something like a cohort and doing like these cohort style courses. We've been wanting to do that with the teacher training. This time is not a cohort. It's just the straight $500 off for you. So let me pull up our other questions. Okay, Lee, in the teacher training, do we go into medical healing such as found in medical Qigong?
You know, we do some, and definitely like 5 elements is part of medical Qigong. It really focuses on health, healing, emotional balance, things that we're dealing with in day-to-day life, you know, whether it's some pain in the body, some discomfort, some way to improve your physical body's health, some way to really transform negative emotional energy into positive emotional energy. So the 5 elements is really about day-to-day health and healing, emotional balance, mental clarity. And then the 3 treasures we're starting to get more into. What's life all about? Like get some altitude above it and get some perspective on our purpose for being here, and maybe more, let's say, what we would think of as a spiritual type of practice. So I'd say the first part of the program, a lot on 5 elements, health and healing, emotional balance. The second part gives us a little bit more, yes, mental clarity, spiritual type of focus, which is how do we connect to nature? How do we connect to our higher selves? How do we connect to our purpose? You know, and just dive into this in a very practical way, like in an embodied way, but it gives us some more, a little bit more esoteric perspective, and helping to answer some existential types of questions in and through our own practice where we cultivate answers for ourselves.
That's great. Thanks, Lee. And then could you talk a little bit about, I think the 5 elements and 3 treasures are really the foundational theory systems that you're working through in the teacher training. Can you, like, why are those important? Why those?
Right. I mean, 5 elements is such a wonderful map to help us to navigate life more skillfully. Remember, Gong means skill, and we want to just cultivate more and more skill on how to move through life with health, happiness, and fulfillment. And that is, for me, one of the best ways to do that. So 5 elements gives us a really clear map on how to transform stress into vitality, how to lead healthier and happier lives on a day-to-day basis. And then the 3 treasures, like I was saying, really helps us to get a little bit more perspective, clarity, expansiveness. You know, it's like climbing to the top of the mountain and being able to see the whole vista, and then coming back down and being able to implement that new vision for yourself. It's just a nice variety of practices that give us a great foundation for all Qigong styles. And then, as people know, we have a wide variety of other workshops and courses that we've taught. But once you have the 5 elements and the 3 treasures, all those other courses and workshops make a lot of sense, and they are very well integrated. And 5 elements, 3 treasures give you a really great foundation if you go off and study with another teacher, if you practice Tai Chi, if you're doing yoga, if you're doing meditation, you really understand different practices in a principle-oriented way. That I think is really important and helpful.
That's great. Thanks, Lee. Jeanette is wondering if she's biting off more than she can chew. They've taken Iron Shirt, Piercing the Veil workshop recently, and I haven't had time to really delve into them. If I take the teacher training, am I spreading myself too thin? What do you think, Lee?
I mean, that's a great question. The nice thing is you always have access to these courses. They're not going anywhere. They're there for you. And I think you could just take little bite-sized chunks of each of these courses. I don't think you're biting off more than you could chew if you do the teacher training, because everything is very synergistic. And you start doing your teacher training, you know, maybe you do an hour on Monday of your teacher training, and then you do 20 or 30 minutes of a Piercing the Veil on Tuesday, and it's not a huge amount of time. And maybe there's you're listening to a lecture of the teacher training on Monday, but you do a Piercing the Veil Qigong workout afterwards. That is absolutely fine. I think they're going to go synergistically. I think just get to them, you know, a few times a week. And then you're going to go through over the course of 6 months, you're going to really have a firm foundation. And that actually is a great synergy. Teacher training, where you have your 5 elements, your 3 treasures, Piercing the Veil, which is this really interesting spiraling kind of movements. You're not going to see any of those in the teacher training. And then something like Iron Shirt, really, that gives you more structure and power. It'll help to dive into what you're going to learn into the teacher training even deeper, at a deeper level. So I think they're great. I think that's a great synergy. And you don't have to do any of them every day. You could just, you know, lean into your teacher training and sprinkle in some of the other workshops, you know, at a time frame that makes sense for you.
Nice. Well, thanks, Lee. And Sheila's asking, how does it work if you purchase now and want to start several months later? Because it's all self-paced, you could purchase now and show up to the orientation calls or watch the replays of those if you would like, if you can't attend them live. And then you can start whenever you want. So you could start your certification in 6 months or 2 years or whenever it works really well for you. Personally, I would probably try and do it relatively soon after you enroll, so it doesn't just fall by the wayside and you sort of forget. I know I kind of, if I don't start something relatively soon, I sort of just don't do it, and it just sits on the digital shelf collecting dust. So definitely, if you don't feel like you can start relatively soon, personally, I would wait, but that's everyone is a little bit different. I think some people are good at knowing they'll come back. So I hope that helps.
You know what else you could do, Chen, is just calendar it, you know, just like, okay, I'm going to put it in my calendar in 3 months from now, I'm going to start, and you just schedule, you know, little, you know, whether it's 15 minutes schedule it, whether it's 30 minutes. And I think one thing like Chen was saying you could do is just go through some of the lectures, like just start to sprinkle in some of the lectures and whatever you can in little 15-20 minute chunks. And you know, you just kind of go into it at a very slow pace, but it's just starting to plant some seeds. Or calendar it, you know, get it now because there's a discount, and calendar it in, you know, like I'm going to start, you know, on February 1st, and then just start to put in some times where you're actually going to spend some time diving into it. That's a great way to do it as well.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks, Lee. The other question that was just coming up is from Melissa. They just completed the 2-week trial and the 30-day challenge. They're in love with the practice. Have been feeling so great. They're saying they're considering the teacher training and to learn more about Qigong, but is not sure if they should practice more, do other things for a while inside of the subscription before doing the teacher training. Like, I guess, when is the best time for someone to be diving in, and really how long should someone have practiced?
Yeah.
And
right. And I think it's about how much energy you have around it. And sometimes if you're feeling like called to it, it's a great time to do it. Because as Chen was saying, you know, you have this as a resource when you want to get into it. And the thing is, with the teacher training and the subscription go well together because there's so much variety in the subscription. And it's just like you show up to a class, you don't have to remember things, you don't have to learn it all. You could just come up and come in and enjoy it. And then in the teacher training, what you're really doing is like starting to like take notes, starting to dive in deeper. You understand, because you're in the teacher training or in the 5 elements, you're really understanding what you're doing in the subscription. You get the backstory, you get the depth of what Qi is, you get the depth and the understanding of the 5 elements and flowing movements and the structure of a class. You get all those principles of, you know, warm up, stretch, flow, and why I'm designing classes in a particular way. So I think if you did them synergistically together, you're going to get a lot of ahas. I would say, just take it slow through the teacher training, you know, listen to those lectures, progress with the weekly classes, you know, occasionally do the practices in the teacher training at some rhythm. And over the course of a year and a half, you might be through the teacher training and ready to teach in conjunction with your subscription. I would just have, if you're going to do that, just, you know, that's kind of practice where you're doing Qigong 5 days a week for an hour or so a day. And I think then if you're going to kind of commit to that kind of time frame, you know, it could be like Mondays, it's a half an hour, and Tuesdays, it's 2 hours, something like that. Or on a weekend, you spend 4 or 5 hours with the material, lectures and flows and meditations. You're going to do just fine. If you only have like, you know, 30 minutes 3 times a week, then just do the subscription. But if you have a little bit more time that you can commit to it, it would be amazing to do both, and you'd really get a lot out of it.
That's great. Great answer. Thanks, Lee. And let's see. Mana's having more questions. Is there a live exam? There's not a live exam. You have quizzes that are there inside of the program that you can complete as you progress through. Is the program updated continuously? We haven't updated the core material since Lee first taught it, but we are in the works of, hopefully, don't tell too many people. Would like to have us reteach the core content sometime soon, but we are always adding more master classes and the Q&As with Lee. Lee, why should someone do this certification rather than another one?
That is a great question. And, you know, I've done a lot of different certifications. I've trained with a lot of Qigong teachers. I've traveled through Asia, you know, at least, you know, 15 times with long periods while I was there training and studying with different teachers. I just feel like I've assimilated the information and present it in a really understandable, accessible way. I think if you really want something more esoteric or something more, let's say, that has more, let's say, Chinese martial arts or kind of structural components into a particular system, like I'm thinking like Tai Chi or Wild Goose, that are very form oriented, that might be a better choice. But if you want to really understand the principles behind all the Qigong systems, from a perspective of somebody who's gone and done a lot of training from different teachers and I really understand it, I think this is a great course. I love that it's online. I had some challenge with teaching online in the beginning because I was like, I'd rather have people right here and I could look at your movements. But what I've found, when you have it online, you're not sitting there taking notes the whole time, because now you have it. You can rewind. You can remember. You don't have to remember it all in one shot like you hear in a live class. I love the live components. I love it for the transformational. I love the online, and that there's more to be able to review, to go back through, to understand it, to hear it again. There's something that is really powerful about that component of it. So I like that. And I'm hearing over and over again how it works really well, especially in a curriculum where you're learning how to teach it and you need that review. You don't have to just rely on your notes and your memory. It's right there. So, I mean, there's a lot of great teachers out there. There's a lot of really great teachers. I think the strength of this program is in its flexibility and in the ability to understand why we're doing something. I offer Western perspective. I offer evidence-based. I talk about the science behind it. I really kind of bring in this Western mindset as well as a Chinese medicine perspective, both a Qigong perspective. And I'm a Chinese medical practitioner. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. So I was able to bring in all that information in a cohesive way that makes sense. And that was my goal with a practice like this. Plus, you know, it's 5 elements and 3 treasures. You get a lot more than that. Like Chen was showing, there's our introduction to Qigong. There's a lot of programs in there that are going to support what you're learning. And the other thing I love about our program, we just have a really solid team, and it's just come together sort of magically. You know, you have Chen, you have Jenny, you have Kelly, you have Tony, you have Alita, you have Lewis. I mean, all these people are experts in their own rights, and they're here to support you. So that's great. And then, you know, I'm available once a month for questions. So there's a lot of touch points. There's a Facebook community. People support each other. So the ecosystem is really well established. And sometimes you go to a live teacher training and then, you know, you're done after 2 weeks, but you're kind of left to yourself, like I was. And I feel like this community is really starting to form and be so cohesive and supportive to each other. That's what I love about this program. And once you go through this program, go study with other teachers and really understand, oh, that's what they're doing. That's why they're doing it in this particular way. That's a particular style of Qigong, or that's why that makes sense in my foundational training of what's going on. So it goes well with other teachers' practices as well. So that's it for me, Chen.
That was a good answer.
Yeah, that was
That's it.
long-winded.
That's it, he says. All right. What is the next question? From Lisa, can you count the time in a subscription class towards the practice hours? No, you can't. Not at the moment. And Bonnie is asking if you can get certified to work around the world or in a specific region. Our certification is specific to Holden QiGong. So once you get our certification, you are Holden QiGong certified and can teach anywhere, as long as it conforms with, I guess, your local laws. And
yeah, and just on planet Earth, Chen.
There you go, planet Earth.
Yeah.
If you make it to the moon,
hey, Chen, the previous question, what was that answer that you gave? What was that previous question? I wanted to say something about that.
Can you count time in a subscription class to practice hours?
Yeah, I just wanted to just give you a little more backstory, because originally we were counting other hours, but people weren't doing enough in the training. And it's not a lot of hours. It's really a short amount of time. We really want you to master the 5 elements and the 3 treasures. So put your attention onto that as practice hours. Make sure you really dial in those practices. And that's why we do it that way, not counting subscription. We want you to be focused. We want you to be able to go deep with this material, spend a little time in your extracurricular hours doing that so that you really master, you develop a deeper mastery of this material. That's your foundation. And then when you're doing subscription classes, it makes a lot more sense. And we found that that's what works best.
That's great. Thanks for expanding on that, Lee. All right. Tim is asking, do we see interest in Qigong building right now in terms of popularity as a practice? What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. I think it's really building in popularity. I'm getting invitations. I've been on a bunch of morning shows, Good Morning Washington, D.C., Good Morning San Diego, Good Morning L.A. That's all in the last, let's say, month. I've been invited on a bunch of, platforms that are starting to be like, wow, what does this practice have to offer? With the show that we have on public television that's national, we're seeing a lot more interest in a mainstream kind of way. And I think that's going to continue to grow. And I would love to see you guys continue to help spread the word and helping people to develop resources. The thing is that there's a need. I think now more than ever with technology, with phones, with people struggling with tons of emotional issues, depression, anxiety, insomnia, that Qigong just has a lot to offer and it has solutions and people are looking for those solutions and they don't know that Qigong is one of those solutions. So us being able to get that out there is really being in service. And that's what I love about this practice. There's a great opportunity because it is at its infancy.
I love it. Yeah. Sort of like getting into yoga before yoga became what it is.
It is. Yeah, big time.
But then there's the thing, like the thing to think about is, you can get into it because it's like, there's a building interest in all of those reasons. But I think the people that enjoy it the most are the people that kind of want to do it regardless. And so, yes, there's the added benefit that interest, I believe, is growing. Of course, like that's from a business perspective, that's what we're going to say, right? We're not going to be like, oh no, it's not growing. Sorry. Like, I don't know why just to put that out there, that I see it as we wanting to move towards the program and wanting to move towards teaching, because that just feels like something that you're being called to do from inside rather than some of the external reasons. For a lot of when I'm evaluating doing a big life move or a big change like this, it's often I'm looking for those external things to validate what I already feel inside. And I'm just calling that out kind of for myself is like, and everyone else here, if there's like an internal sort of like pulling back, maybe it's not the right time for you to do the teacher training. But if you're sort of just noticing that you're looking for these external things to validate that you already feel like you're moving forward and moving towards this, you can almost, like, I'm a very physical person. I'll notice if my body's like kind of leaning in or leaning away. And if you notice that you're sort of leaning in rather than leaning away, maybe it's time to just go for it anyway. Speaking of which, if you do feel like you haven't gotten questions answered and you would like to talk to someone on our team, we are offering the opportunity or the ability to sign up for what we're calling clarity calls. So if you'd like to sign up to talk to someone on our team, I think we have 2 people on our team and a couple of teachers who are going to be taking calls. You can sign up for a call. We'll be posting that link into the Zoom chat here. Sean just did that, and Sav, thank you both very much. We'll send that link out in the replay email and the emails over the next couple of days as well. You can sign up for a call and we'll extend the $500 off sale for you. So you get a little bit more time to decide, talk things through, get questions answered, sort of talk to someone one-on-one. And if you're really feeling like it's not super clear, or there's like, you're not sure, it's like maybe your body doesn't move forward or back, and you're like, I don't know. That would be a place where you could go and get that kind of deeper one-on-one attention, more focused attention from someone, rather than just having Lee or I answer questions here on chat, here in the video. And Christine, you're asking what payment options are available. Sav just posted the full price. That is not the price it is right now. It is $500 off all of those prices. Sav, just to be sure to post the sale prices as they are right now. You can pay in full, in which case it's $3,497 US. You can do a 3-month payment plan or a 12-month payment plan. I'm not remembering what those monthly installments are right off the top of my head. There's a little bit of an extra percentage for doing the payment plans. So you're paying more than the pay in full if you do the payment plans. It takes us a little bit of extra work to manage the payment plans. So that's usually why they're a little bit extra. But the $500 off is applied to those payment plan totals as well. So $500 off applies to everything. And I think that's a good ending spiel. Lee, anything you want to jump in with? The questions are winding down, and we got through a lot.
I mean, I think you know, there is an investment into the program like this, and it's significant. And I always think when I'm investing in something like this, there's many benefits. I mean, one, in a certification, it can be part of a new career. It's something that you could make money on, but the true value of investing in a program like this is really what it does for yourself, what it does for your health and healing, what it does for preventing, you know, issues from arising. You know, as you dive into a Qigong practice, you're learning it to be able to teach it and to spread the word. And therefore you're going to learn it at a deeper level. The best way to learn something is to teach it. I am so grateful that I found a practice like this, because I keep learning more and more because I'm teaching more and more. And so just with that mindset, if you're thinking, okay, how would I teach it? You're going to learn the material at a deeper level, and the benefits at learning it at a deeper level for yourself are vast and are great. And so there's this internal benefit of taking up a certification like this, as well as an external benefit. And that's what I love about it. A lot of times, like Chen was saying, you get a certification in a course, and now you have a new skill set, but it's mainly to go out and add to your profession, but maybe it doesn't have all that internal benefit of self-growth and self-cultivation and understanding, you know, a deeper understanding of why I'm actually here on this planet at this particular time and what's the opportunity. And I think a Qigong practice and a program can offer a lot of solutions, insights, knowledge, and energy to your life where you are right now. So I'm excited for you guys. I hope it sounds interesting and exciting. If you do decide to come in, then it's just a big welcome. And if it's not for you right now, then we're going to just send you blessings and see you when it is the right time for you, if that happens. But otherwise, welcome, and can't wait to dive into our Qi practice at a very deep level. And we'll see you on the welcome call and a Q&A at a time real soon.
That's great. Thank you so much, Lee. All right, everyone. That is all the time we had for today. Thank you so much for sticking for the full 2 hours. This was long. We'll send the replay out probably later today. Thank you so much. And again, if you have additional questions or want to talk to someone on the team, you can click that Clarity Call link that Sean or Sav just posted into the chat. We'll also send it out in the replay email as well, so you can grab it out of there. If you want to join and just join the teacher training and jump in, the link to do that will also be in the replay email going out later today. And I'll post that link into the chat here as well. It's also on the website. If you go to the website, holdenqigong.com, and there's a menu item that says teacher training, that's the place to go if you want to jump in. And the $500 off will be automatically applied. You just start the checkout process and it'll all be the sale pricing. So no coupon code or anything like that. Thank you all so much once again. I hope to see you in the teacher training.